My name's Phil Fischman, and I'm a resident in Encinitas, California. My wife and I own a bead and crystal store called Beads, Crystals, and More, and it's a wonderful place of business and fun and learning. I got my love of nature from my dad. I got my love of creativity from my mother, and the two of them combined to lead me into both creating crafts when I was younger, and stones was something I became interested in, rocks and minerals. So I started digging in garnet quarries in New Jersey when I was 7 years old and picking up stones along the way and little fossils and things like that. We used to be able to find seashells on the shore in those days, before they were all picked over. So it was really my love of nature. And 50-something years later, I'm still as enamored with stones as I've ever been, and it's a joy to be able to work with them. The Tucson Gem Show has been an important part of my life. This was my 40th year going to the show. I moved to Tucson freshman year in college. It's interesting, we're having weather on the East Coast right now and even in San Diego, we're having a little bit of winter weather. When I was a freshman in college at Ohio University, and my parents were in New Jersey, it was 13 below wind chill. My first Christmas break. So I was supposed to go back and visit my parents. And I called them and I said, I'm not coming home. It's too cold. And I had $16 in my pocket. I had never been west of Ohio before. That's where I was in school. And I stuck out my thumb and I hitchhiked across country and back and discovered Southern California and Southern Arizona and warm weather. And so I said, I'm moving to Tucson. And I moved to Tucson, and I got a job in a bead store because I needed a job to get in-state residency. So I got a job in a bead store, and then on my birthday, I turned around and there was the Gem Show. So the show has been either on or around my birthday. So this is my birthday party for the last 40 years. I've never missed a year. Even when I wasn't in Tucson, I lived in Tucson for about a dozen years. Of course, I went every year, even when I wasn't in Tucson, even when I wasn't in the business per se. I would always make sure I'd save some money and go back to Tucson for a few days to the show. I walked into this little bead store that was going out of business 15 years ago. I walked in to spend 10 cents and buy one head pin, and I found a store going out of business. So it was really serendipitous that we bought the store and got into the business. The first question I asked the nice couple who had the store was, why are you selling? And they were selling because they had just gotten a little crispy and burnt out. One of their moms had passed away, and they were just tired. So it was a good reason for them to sell. The second question I asked them was, who do you buy from in Tucson? And this very nice couple turned and looked at each other and then looked back at me and said, who's in Tucson? And I said, never mind. I said, if you don't go to Tucson and you don't know who's in Tucson, there are no more questions I have to ask you about your business. And the reason for that was I had already experienced at that point 25 years of going to Tucson, and everybody in the world in our business is in Tucson. So it's a big show, it's an important show, and you see a lot of people, a lot of things, a lot of material. I have great fun. I get to wear a lot of beads and jewelry to work every day, which is really a lot of fun. And my wife says I'm one of the probably rare guys that wears more jewelry than his wife does. And so I wasn't sure what to wear today. And so I'm wearing quartz. This is a Tibetan quartz piece, which is beautiful, got lovely rainbows in it, wonderful piece. Some of these did have water in them. I didn't pick the one with the water, I just picked the biggest one with the nicest rainbow. And this is a wonderful strand. This is all double terminated crystals. I've never seen another strand quite like these. They're scepters, they're twins. All of the crystals are lovely crystals. The whole strand is just beautiful, nicely graduated, nicely put together. And this was one of those, I bought this strand, and I have never seen another strand like this ever, not before, not after, and I wouldn't sell this to anybody. And then I strung it and decided to wear it and have gotten lots of compliments on it. And then I've got my Labradorite moon, which is fun. People laugh. The rings have become a little part of my costume at work, and people laugh when I tell them I am not a ring person. and I'm not a ring person, but they wouldn't. I bought the eagle ring in Tucson. I was buying some 3,300-year-old Chinese etched jade beads that very few people have. And there's this photographer who's an international traveler that I know. And over 2 years, I was looking at some of these old beads. So I finally made the purchase, and as I turned away after buying these wonderful old beads, I saw this eagle silver ring in his case. Didn't even ask the price. I said, let me have that too. And I put that on my hand. I love eagles, and I have an eagle curio cabinet at home with carved eagles of all different types. And I thought it would go in the cabinet. When I put him on my hand, he sits on the knuckle, and he's really kind of too big. So I had to surround him with other things. I usually don't wear him on that finger. I wear him on one of the other fingers. But I had to surround him with other things so that my hand didn't look ridiculously small with this huge ring on it. So the rings have become, and every day, depending on, oh, this is an anhydro quartz crystal, which is nice that we turned into a ring. So every day, normally I wear Hawaiian because my wife and I got married in Hawaii and I just love the island. So I'll normally wear Hawaiian shirts and loads of beads. These are 3 strands of Venetian glass trade beads, 1800s, early 1900s, black tourmaline on the bracelets and Herkimer crystals. So I now have a wall full of beads and a closet full of Hawaiian shirts, and every day I either feel like wearing a shirt and I match the beads to it, or I feel like wearing chrysoprase or turquoise, or I feel like a color. So getting dressed to go to work is an absolute joy and a blast for me. I used to have to wear suits and ties. I used to have to wear nice shoes and briefcases, and that was fun. But this is even more fun. I really enjoy getting dressed to go to work. And we do have people who come to the store just to see what kind, like, what's Phil wearing today? What kind of beads is this guy wearing today? So it's fun for me.